Hi everyone and welcome to this week. We're having a bit of a heat wave in the UK, which is amazing. And this morning I was going through summer things. I'm inspired by the colour and the floral print. I've moved off, so I've bought them up. I'm not going to wear them, but I'm going to paint from them, I think. I've moved over last week's series and they're just on pause. It's really, really good for me just to let them be for a while. I've got a temporary frame just to slot them in. So they're there. I want to turn my attention to Sissinghurst. And also we had a lovely quick trip yesterday morning to Ighton Moat, which is also not too far away, National Trust property. Beautiful, beautiful house. The gardens don't come anywhere near Sissinghurst, but the house and the whole situation is lovely. And in one of the upstairs rooms they have got some 18th century, I hope that's right, 18th century Chinese wallpaper. It's charming, on a big scale. And so I'm thinking, might I like to do something of that? So things tie together. I don't know if that was what was on my subconscious after going there, and then thinking about this print. I don't tend to do print on a trouser. I think I was having a bit of these must have been on sale. I think I was having a bit of a wacky moment, but here they are, and I think they're going to be really useful for a colour palette at least. I'm just looking at what I've got. I've got this square canvas board, which started life as a landscape. I was thinking about a figure. It's been moving around. So I think that I'll just use this as a ground. I'm just looking at those daisies. Right, that's where my eye goes. I think I'll start. I can start with those. So there's depth up in the top, lots of lovely greens, and then the standout daisies. I'm going to go in with a sort of household brush, and I'm just doing, you'll have to excuse this palette, but I'm just doing a bit of a stipple mix. This particular pad, the paint just lifts off, so you can reuse and reuse and reuse, which is brilliant. The beauty of acrylic. I was reading in the book Painter's Progress, there's a brilliant bit in here about oil techniques in acrylic, where it says extremely versatile acrylic paints are relatively new and can be used effectively in transparent washes, glazes and heavy impasto. The paints are waterproof when dry, so one colour can be painted over another with no risk of disturbing the first. Drying time is in fact short, making acrylics an excellent medium for using outside. You won't have to carry a wet painting back to your studio. So it might be the case that something will remain of that ground, and I probably have said before, the other advantage, you're so immediately into the thing when you use old grounds. So to get the depth, I can add in, let's add in a bit of grey to that. I put quite a wet application of green, and I've let it run a little bit, and I've scratched through a little bit, And this is quite nice, quite good fun on the wet. I've got some white paint. I'm trying not to think at this point, oh, it's got to look exactly like a daisy. This is the experiment, if you like, just seeing what could develop from that image. Again, this is nice if you want to be loose. It's easy peasy. So really it's just on repeat. I love it when you see a mass of the same flower. I'll drop in, I hope I kept it. We were walking in the woods and the foxgloves. Oh, look at these. They're absolutely gorgeous, and how much I love seeing them in their natural habitat. And then just after that walk, we went to Sissinghurst. Sissinghurst have got them in their garden and they do look fantastic there as well. They're a lovely vertical. This is very thick now. And now obviously I want to let that dry and I want to bring in another board. I'll move the camera, stay there. Some time back and I just forget things. I thought it might be a really good exercise. Some of you guys ask about framing and I ordered from Jackson's and I don't think this is very expensive for what you get. I'll try and dig out the receipt. From Jackson's you can buy your canvas, a nice, really nice quality deep edge canvas. You can choose different sizes. This is a 38mm and it comes with a painted tray frame. Craig can't make, we can't buy in the timber and produce that for that price. So it's really not a bad option if you're looking for frames, wanting to get frames made up. Have a look. 2 sawtooth square hangers and screws. So yeah, I just put it away and thought to share it and forgot all about it. So I could, and I might, and I should, use that Jackson's kit for this project on the way. I'll put the frame somewhere safe so it doesn't get marked. And then I think I'll just see if I can colour match some of what's in here. I've just experimented, that's turquoise green, and I've added in some neutral grey, and that's too muted, but I rather like it nonetheless. Yeah, I do like it. So if I wanted to, let's see what happens if I put some yellow. Let's see what happens. with a bit of yellow. No. But again, I do really like it. I do like that. Yeah, I think it comes from phthalo. Let's find a brush. Phthalo with a touch of grey. That is an Indian yellow hue. That's the sage. So the sage, Indian yellow hue, a little bit of white and a little bit of grey. That is portrait pink. There's a little bit of that in there. There is pale umber, burnt umber. I'm going to put in a tiny bit. So burnt umber, a little bit of burnt umber on that portrait pink. I came in this morning, put a very wet wash of yellow ochre and mixed it with some white, and then I put that all over, and then I've just lifted off where it's very, very wet with a piece of kitchen towel. I'm just lifting off that excess wetness. It's double-edged, not knowing what you're doing. On one hand, it's really exciting because it's new territory, and on the other hand, everything in society says you need to know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing. So it's very hard to break that and stop those thoughts of, oh my God, I should know what I'm doing. Most of the time, it's very helpful to know what you're doing, but when it comes to messing about, trying to be loose, trying to be free, creative, find things, discover things, and have a sense of exploration, you do need to let go of always knowing what you're doing. Well, I looked over at the iris and the pink was just saying, paint me. I think the trousers are distracting me now. I am definitely going to work from them. But I think I'm trying to confuse two things here. The yellow ochre drew me to I think that's yarrow, and but then my eye with the pink, I thought that might work. So I will continue here. The trousers were a step too far in amongst this. Morning, everyone. I came up last night. I had the urge to cut some vase shapes from an old magazine, and came up last night and thought there was some blue paint, and I think I was really enjoying this blue, and when I held it against one of the paintings I thought, oh, I quite like it. I'm not so sure this morning. I'll turn the camera and I might have to rectify. Now I'm seeing it in the light of day. The blue on one is more successful, I think, than the other, but we will see. So I had some nice iris work here and then got carried away with the shapes. I quite like something of the blue here. I just introduced a little bit through. So there's something of this that I think I'll keep, but we'll see. But you have to have a go. You have to You have to see to know. But this morning coming in, it's just, oh, too strong. So if I'm going to keep the shapes, I think what I'll do, first of all, is just put white paint to cover this blue. It might be the case that I like some of the blue popping out. We'll see. It's so easy just to take that blue off. I'm getting rather a pile of paints here. This is Opera Rose. Right, so it sort of sits up. I am going to keep, I think, some of the blue, quite like it, but I've cut in with the yellow ochre. That's quite wet. I mixed the Opera Rose with a little bit of white. I don't know if that's going to hang there very well. So I can let that dry and pull in. Let's get back to the daisies. This needs to look a lot more daisy-ish, but there's something of that I rather like there. At this point, I think it might be an idea for me to clear this table. That's better. So I've got whatever's left of that yellow ochre. I know that I'll want to tune it up with a brighter yellow, but it will help. I normally get drawn to the azo yellow light, so pulling out a little bit of that yellow. I've gone on with the daisy. It's quite interesting, the character of the flower. This is those iris are bold, pushy, and the daisies are just gentle, and I like it. I like where this is going. I've put the edge of a table, the idea of a tabletop here in the garden, but I think the essence of this is down, and I can just keep tweaking around. It's at that stage of the painting where it's quite relaxing. I can just have a bit of fun. My feeling is let's pull in another board and think about bringing in another element. We absolutely loved in their kitchen garden at Sissinghurst, they've got these containers, dustbins, steel. Are they steel? I'm not sure what they are, but they're growing their artichokes in one here, and nasturtiums overflowing in this one. So plenty to do this week as always. I've sold one of the boats, which is a great thrill for me. So I'll get myself a boat on the web shop. But where I had a trio, with some of these chunky, love these little chunky cubes. I've got singles and doubles. So I'll probably put a double on the web shop of those. Get at least one of something on. So whatever you're up to, flowers in the garden, it doesn't have to be visiting a property. You know, the florals, the wildflowers in the hedgerows are equally exciting. And the meadow, I particularly like the meadow. So that might be a nice thing to do, a big meadow. That might be a nice painting. I'm waffling. Have a wonderful week, everyone. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.